Hi, I'm just going to demonstrate some myofascial, self-myofascial techniques to be done at home and some static stretching techniques to do before you do your workout, as well as a daily routine for our overactive and tight muscles. So in this video, I'll be using a softy ball. This is just, let me see, the ink came off, but this is a ball I got from a store called Five Below, but it's just one of those high bouncy balls, so there's a little give to it, okay? It's not rock hard. You can also buy soft balls, and there's soft balls that also have some give that aren't rock hard, all right? The practice ones, I think. You can use those, and you can pretty much use any kind of a ball around the size, a little smaller, but no bigger than this. All right, that's what I use for like my calves and my hips and stuff like that. Foam roller comes in different densities. I have this kind that has some ridges in there, but there's also just the true foam that looks like foam and feels like foam, and they also come in this size and they come longer, so either one will work, but if you're just beginning, a lot of people need to start with the foam roller. Also, a lot of them aren't hollow, a lot of them are just solid. But a lot of people may have to start with this, or if they're okay to start with this, it's fine. But if you start with this, use this until your muscles are used to it, you're not feeling as much tender spots, and then try to progress to this for most muscles. Some muscles will only be using this because it's the only way to get into the muscle, but this is for lower body. For the most part, a foam roller can be used for all of it. Okay, using either a foam roller or a ball, I'm going to show you some myofascial techniques. So I'm going to start with the ball on our calf muscle. So the tight calves, you want to have a seat. You're going to find that Achilles tendon. You're going to touch it and you're going to go right above it where you don't feel it anymore, where the bottom of that calf muscle starts, where it gets really narrow. Okay, so you don't want to roll on your Achilles. You want to find that spot at the bottom. All right, you want to make sure that your posture is nice and tall. You don't want to sink into your body. Always keep your shoulders back and down. Place your hands on the floor. The other foot is on the floor. Lift your body up just an inch or two off the floor and slowly start to roll. As you roll, have a seat. Bring your foot with you and your hands with you, and then sit back, come back up off the floor and roll. And keep doing that. Have a seat until you get just before the back of your knee. Do not roll the back of your knee. As you're rolling, you're going to feel some tender spots or painful spots. As you're slowly rolling, just keep going. On the way back, you're going to then go to the worst spot, right there. Once you find it, have a seat. Cross the heaviest part of your leg over your other leg. Don't just cross your ankles, that's not doing anything. All right, cross the heaviest part of your leg and just allow the ball to do the work that's doing by pushing the muscle into the bone and squishing that knot and flattening it out and regaining some length. Also, keep this foot relaxed. Do not keep this foot up, because then you're adding tension to the calf muscle, fighting against what we're trying to do, which is we want it to relax, okay? Also, keep your posture good. Don't sit here and slouch. Always keep your posture nice and tall. It's always good practice. Once you feel a release after 30 seconds or longer, if you don't feel a release by 30 seconds, then hold longer, you're done. Okay, if you don't feel any tender spots underneath your calf, or you do, either way, you may also want to track the side of your calf, which is your side calf, okay? We're just going to stay simple here. I'm not going to get all scientifical. So by doing that, you go from this position to just rotating like this. So now you're going to get the meatier part of the calf that's on the side here. And you position your arms like so you can lift your body up and then slowly roll. Okay? Now, if you're not really able to lift your body up for whatever reasons, shoulder issues, upper body issues, maybe you're very overweight, that's okay, okay? relax. You don't absolutely need to lift your body up. You can do this by just dragging your body, okay? You don't necessarily have to lift your body up. And also, remember to not let your arms go all the way out and stretch, to bring your arms with you. So again, the same rules apply when you do the side calf. Just slowly to just before your knee, and then come back, find that worst spot. Now for this one, because you're rolled sideways, this is going to be very difficult. It's going to make the ball roll. So you can just cross your foot over to keep the ball in place by putting your foot next to the ball, okay, and just letting the ball do the releasing, all right? Doing it like this isn't going to do much. This is better. So using the ball absolutely does get into the muscle easier, okay, because of the size of the ball and how it goes into that muscle. It gets in there. It also, for some people, might be so painful that it's almost unbearable. If that is the case and you are unable to relax into it because it's so unbearable, then you may want to start with a foam roller. This is a higher density foam roller, but you can get lower densities that are softer because they make them in all different densities to suit you. They make them super soft, actually, to medium, to high density, to something like this. And they even get higher than this. So this won't go into the muscle quite as deeply as the ball, but if it's unbearable, you can still use the roller and you're going to feel it. Same rules apply. Everything is the same. For the side, you just do the same thing. Okay, just like this. In this case, you don't need to hold, you don't need to go like this, okay, for the side, because it's a ball. When you're using a ball, you're keeping the ball from rolling. Okay, so here is some Myofacial release at home for your hip flexor muscles, okay, so your hips. So most people will have overactive and tight hip muscles here because they sit a lot, they drive a lot, and this flex position that I'm actually in right now for a long period of time will shorten that muscle, okay? When that muscle gets shortened, it changes things that happen in the back of our body as well. So it changes our movement, okay, even when we're not exercising. And that movement change is compensation. And that compensation can potentially lead to some sort of injury or risk of injury, even if you're not exercising. So we want to keep our hip flexors nice and soft and keep that length. So again, using the ball, before we start, you want to get on the floor, you want to get on your knees, and you kind of want to start like this by palpating yourself. You want to find your hip bones, those front hip bones, those bony notches that are right here. Sorry, my head got cut off, okay? Those bony notches that are right here. Once you find that bony notch, this is not where you want the ball, on that bone. There's nothing there but bone, okay? So you want to just slide your finger a little below that bone where you start to feel that soft tissue, a little bit to the side, outwards. All right, it's like this triangle of a area. So from beneath that bone, make like a triangle with your fingers, right? With the bottom of the bone being the top of the triangle and coming down, okay? And that is pretty much the area that we're going to look for. So once you do that, and you push your fingers in there a little bit, that sensation of your fingers being pushed should still be there, so you should be able to find the spot immediately. Get down on the floor, put that ball, if you want to feel for that bone with the ball, you can, and then just slightly roll off of it, okay? Keep that back leg straight and relax on the floor. Keep this other knee just bent to the side and relaxed, okay? Now, going right on it, you may feel something immediately, and if you do, hold and relax. If you don't, this is where you just want to roll a little bit outwardly, a little bit down, now down your thigh, all the way down your thigh, not yet, a little bit up, not so much into your pelvis. You're not going to find anything there. You want to go from here to a little bit away from, and then down. And you will find a spot. And when you do, hold and let that release happen for at least 30 seconds. Keep your upper body posture up and tall. Do not do this. This is not good. Okay, so keep your posture nice and tall. You don't want to sink into your shoulders like this. You want to push your elbows to the mat. Keep your chest nice and high. Keep your shoulder blades down, sliding them down towards your back pocket, and keep everything nice and tall up here. And keep your forearms straight. So you want your wrists and your elbows to be in one line, and your elbows and your shoulders to be in one line. Now, even though we're doing just a flexibility release technique down here, why do we care about our upper body? Because why do we want to do things to our upper body muscles by doing this and messing up our neck and all that? We always want to take care of our posture. So this is very good practice for every time we do anything on the floor. Always keep your posture. Once you get that release, you can then come off of it and then just simply switch sides. Once you find that spot, release. Let the ball release and do the job. Okay, so now we're going to do the front and the side of our thigh. I'm going to demonstrate it with the foam roller. Most people beginning this may need to start with the foam roller because these muscles, the knots in them are a little more painful. However, if you're rolling and you don't feel much happening, then you may want to switch to some sort of a ball, okay? You want to kneel in front of your roller. Now, if you have one of those really long rollers that are like double the length, you can roll both thighs at the same time, okay? This is a shorter one, so I'm going to do one leg at a time, which is also good because you can also really tell the difference between the two legs, of which leg has more tightness and which leg doesn't. So what you want to do is kneel in front of it. Remember that bony notch that you palpated, the one that's in front of your hip? You want to make sure that the same thing, you want to go right below that notch, okay? Once you're there, that back leg is completely straight. The side leg, the other leg is on the side. You want to bend your elbows and you want to put them ahead of you a little bit because you're going to be using your forearms to pull your body. Okay? Pull it to only about here. Don't go like this. Don't let your elbows go behind you. Once you get to here, bring your arms up further, then roll again. Bring your knee with you, slide your knee up. Come up further, roll again, nice and slowly, to just before your knee. Then stop, then locate the worst spot. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what the worst spot is, but we have one. We all have a worst spot somewhere in there, and if you can't, then just go to a spot that's really painful, and then hold. The same rules apply for your upper body posture. Keep the thigh muscle, the front of the thigh that is on the roller, relaxed. If you're on a painful spot, your pain receptors start to go crazy. So sometimes our muscle does start to clench to try to get away from that pain, even without our knowledge. So in order to see it, it's called muscle guarding. In order to see if you're muscle guarding, flex your leg, and if by doing this, the pain got way worse, that means you were muscle guarding. On the way down is when the muscle is forced to relax because you're coming out of that. You want to do that 3 to 5 times, nice and slowly, until your muscle says, okay, it's time to relax. Usually by the 3rd time, you should start to realize it's not as bad, and then you can just relax and breathe into it. Make sure you inhale and exhale and let everything just stay relaxed. Okay, from here, you can come back up to just before the hip bone, turn your elbow this way, turn to your side. You might have to lift up a little bit to get really on your side. That bottom leg stays straight, and that top leg is crossed over in front of you and is straight. And I'm going to demonstrate the other side. You want to just then slowly pull your body by using this hand, and you're going to do the side of your thigh to just before your knee, then slowly come back up to the worst spot. And when you find it, you want to make sure that you keep your shoulder relaxed. You don't want to be like this. Keep it back and down so your neck, it doesn't go into your neck stays safe. And just try to relax that side thigh going into the roller. All right? So now to demonstrate the front view of the side thigh, when I get to it, you'll see it after I do the front thigh. So again, the front of the thigh. I start all the way back here if you're using a mat, because when we roll, if I started up here, I would end up with my head hitting my couch. So you want to start way back here to give yourself some room. Okay? So this way now you can see the front view of the other leg. And now I'm going to slowly pull my body forward, then walk my legs up while I slide my knee up. Just like so, to just before my knee. Then I'm going to come back, find the worst spot, right there. This thigh is tight today, okay? I don't think I'm muscle guarding, but sometimes even when I don't think I am, I am. So to test it, I flex. Not too bad, a little bit. So by flexing, I'm forcing that muscle, I'm telling that muscle to relax, to stop tightening up, to allow the roller to do its job. This part, when you first flex, might feel very excruciating. If you can just get through it, it goes by fast, it will calm down. Because you need it to calm down before you go ahead and just allow yourself to relax without any motion for the 30 seconds or longer. You can't do that if the muscle is clenched, all right? At least for the most part. Sometimes it's so unbearable that people can't stay on this for even 5 seconds. You can progress to using a ball for the front of your thigh, doing the same thing. Positioning it right there and doing the same thing. You can progress once the foam roller is not a service to you anymore, meaning you don't feel that pain anymore, but you probably still may have some knots in there and you won't know it until you use the ball. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate self-administered myofascial release for your inner thigh. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of different angles so you can see the difference in each angle. So first I'm going to just lay like this. As you can see, my back leg is straight, this leg is in front of me. Now I'm going to find the muscle that is, this is the front of my thigh, this is the side of my thigh, the side of my inner thigh. Okay, so this is the front of my thigh, and this is the side or the middle of my inner thigh. I do not want to roll the middle or the center of my inner thigh, and I don't want to roll the front of the thigh. I want to find that area that's between the front and the side. It's a skinny little area. So if you're like this, all right, you're like, all right, this is the side, not the back, but the side, and this is the front. There is this skinny little area that's between the two. That is where we want to target, okay? Our inner thigh adductor muscles. Because those are the ones, even though these are our adductors as well, it's the ones that are here that are the ones that are indicated as overactive. So I'm going to start with just below my knee, and you see how much you can see the ball? If you're going in here like this, thinking, all right, I'm doing my inner thigh, you see how you don't see the ball? You're doing it wrong. All right, you need the ball to be more out, okay? And what we're going to do, I'm going to start on the side more, all right, is as soon as you're under your knee, just below your knee, you put your body weight and pressure on there, you might feel something immediately, all right? Just keep rolling super slowly. Bring your body with you. Super slowly until you get way up inside that groin area. All right, you're all the way into that groin area, and then slowly come back. Find that worst spot, and when you do, now straighten, because you're like this, kind of looking too, making sure the ball stays in place. Once you find it, you can then keep that posture, relax, and breathe into it. Sometimes you look at the ball, it's in the right place, and you start rolling, and the ball disappears because you start to roll on your middle part of your thigh. The ball will roll. It's a ball, it rolls, right? So you want to just kind of keep a little bit of an eye on it. I'm able to look at myself in the camera too, and that's it. Very simple. Okay. I actually think that angle was fine. So no, I'm not going to show you another angle because I wasn't sure if you were able to see the inner thigh with the ball, but you were. So okay, so doing that inner thigh adductor muscle with the foam roller, for those who find it way too painful with the ball, okay, the foam roller goes like this. This direction. Okay, not this direction, but this direction. And what you're doing is just making sure that you start where you're just below your knee. And it's the same idea. Same idea, just push that. Now you have the whole roller, so there's no worry about it rolling. But what you do want to do is make sure that you're rolling your leg a little bit this way to get into the right adductor muscles. And that's it. And I'm not way up here. You can find wherever part of the roller you want. I try to go like a little below the center of it, just like that. All right, so next we're going to do what's called a piriformis muscle. It's the muscle that runs diagonally from, I'm just going to try to keep it simple, from our tailbone to the top of our thigh bone in this kind of like diagonal direction. And this piriformis muscle gets pinched a lot, okay, and gets tight, all right? It actually gets overactive and tight and pinches on the sciatic nerve. All right, so this will cause some lower back pain as well. A lot of lower back pain does come from this muscle being overactive. Not all, but once this is addressed and it gets better, then you know that this was the cause. Okay, so this is what we're going to work back here. So this is very tedious, but you want to palpate, which is touching, right? You want to touch your tailbone. once you find your tailbone, which is easy, right? Take your one side, take your thumb, find the edge, the outer edge of your tailbone to where it dips, and now you just kind of start to feel the meat of your butt, okay? And this is that beginning part of that piriformis. So you definitely don't want to roll on your tailbone. So once you do that, I'm going to show you a different angle here just to show you. You want to find your tailbone, go off to the side a little bit, okay? Once you go off to the side, you're going to lift your body up, position the ball carefully, make sure you're not directly on your tailbone. I'm on my feet. Now, for beginners, you might just have to stay on both feet at first and just kind of roll almost just in a perfect circle, not going over your tailbone. A perfect circle around your tailbone just to get used to what you're feeling. And then once you start to feel that spot, try to go down to your elbows, or at least the one elbow of the same side. Okay, the other hand, you could just stay on the floor. And you can just roll a little bit. If it's really intense, you can kind of just hold on that spot just like this. Okay? And breathe into it. When that starts to release, you can then continue and see if there's any more going on. Ooh, where did that come from? Okay, that's what you'll feel. Now, if you're able to bear it, starting from the beginning again, when you're up here like this and you find that spot and you go down on that elbow, if you can bear it, you then can drop the other elbow and cross the leg over your knee of the same side of the ball. So if the ball's here, this is the knee you're crossing, all right? That puts more of your body weight. That's all it's doing, it's putting more of your body weight. So if you can bear it, because the idea is to get as much of a release as possible. All right, so breathe into it. And that's about it. You can also do this piriformis muscle that's back here by the tailbone if using the ball is too excruciating and it's too hard, no matter what position you put your body in. You can start with the foam roller. So start with the roller behind you. All right. Use your hand on the floor, come up onto the roller. What you want to do is tilt your body towards the side that you're doing. Find and locate the edge of your tailbone, okay? And then when you find it, try to go down on that elbow of the same side you're kind of leaning into. And if you can, bring that leg up of the same side and relax. Remember, don't sink into your shoulders. Keep your shoulders back and down. Don't sink into your shoulders like this. Keep nice and tall, back and down, until you get a release. Okay, so here is a bonus video of doing the hip, the front of the thigh, and the inner thigh back to back to back to save time, okay, and to just be more efficient with the ball. All right, so here we go. Once you've mastered each one, you'll be able to do this. No problem, piece of cake. Okay, so we start with doing our hip, right? Don't need to explain that if you watch the other videos. So we do our hip, we find a spot, we hold, release, right? We can go straight down our thigh from there, right? I'm speeding it up a little bit, not going as slow. Find a spot, see if we're muscle guarding, okay? Boom, boom, boom. And we hold until we find a release. Now we can go right from that to our inner thigh. Bam, we just saved time doing one leg without switching. Ooh, find a spot and release. Okay, you can then go right from there to doing the other side and doing all those together as well. Once you're all done, because typically we don't use the ball for the side of the thigh, because that is really the vastus lateralis, which is this muscle on the side of our thigh. The ball is really hard. You have to be like so, have nothing going on in there, which is almost impossible. So at the end, you can then go ahead and do your side of your thigh and just switch sides. But you save a lot of time by doing those three hip, front of the thigh and inner thigh all at once, back to back to back. Saves time. There you go. This is just part one of our flexibility for the lower body, and that part is then followed with static stretching. So we do the release, get the muscles nice and soft before we start pulling on them through static stretching to get that length. And those videos will be next, coming soon to a social media near you. Hi guys, I just want to explain some important things about doing self-administered, self-myofascial release at home as your corrective / flexibility that you would do before you exercise, or just on a daily basis to keep your muscles nice and healthy. So, number one, you want to stay hydrated while performing this type of exercise, this type of flexibility, using your ball or your roller. You need to stay hydrated, drink water before you start, sip throughout, and again after. Because what we're doing is myofascial release, okay? We're pressing the muscle into bone, and that will make us dehydrated. Just like when you get a massage, it's the same principle. You need to stay hydrated. Very important, okay? Secondly, there are times where you may hit a nerve. So at any point, if you're rolling over the muscle and for any reason you start to feel tingles or numbness going down your limb or wherever you're doing, you may probably have hit a nerve. So it's not the worst thing in the world. All you want to do is get off the nerve, okay? And start over again. It's not going to kill you. You just don't want to stay on the nerve. That's it. Okay. Next thing, if you have varicose veins or any circulation problems whatsoever, you definitely need to consult with your physician before performing this type of flexibility. But even so, do not roll with the ball or roll or anything. Do not use this flexibility on top of varicose veins, okay? It is definitely not recommended. Do not do it, and also consult with your physician as well, okay? Another tip is to, when you're doing the releasing and you're rolling over and you're looking for that really bad spot, and you're finding that worst spot and you're like, oh my God, this is so painful, how am I gonna be able to take it and stay still? A little tip is come off the spot for a second, all right, relax so you're not killing yourself. Take a deep inhale through your nose, and just as you're about to exhale and blow that air out of your mouth, go on that spot. So let's say this is the spot that's really bad. I'm just sitting here demonstrating. I'm going to inhale and go. And just relax. The breathing helps. When you exhale into the pain, it allows that muscle to get more relaxation, okay? And repeat it. Again, while you're on it, inhale really deeply, and then but take a couple of normal breaths in between the deep inhales so you don't hyperventilate. Don't want that, no. And lastly, posture. If we're working and releasing one part of our body, wherever it may be, the parts of our body that aren't doing anything, we want to keep good posture there, so we don't make those muscles become super tight and overactive and, you know, go into our neck and jack our neck up and everything like that. So you want to always think about good posture. Good posture is shoulders back and down, chest out, nice and tall, zipped up through the torso, shoulder blades together, shoulders back, chin, head, everything nice and straight. You don't want to be like this, you want to be like this, right? That's not good. You want to be like this. Okay, good posture is important. Okay, so this is Personal Training with Bernadette, and I'm here just to help give some good fitness tips and some of my skills that I have learned through my education through the National Academy of Sports Medicine, as well as the Brookbush Institute of New York City. And yes, I just gave a shout out to them, so please see this. But anyway, God bless you all, good luck, and feel free to message me or contact me if you do have any questions, okay, or if you want to hire me. Hi, I'm just going to demonstrate. Hi, I'm just going to demonstrate. Oh my God.